Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Crime Criminals etc. Today we will be talking about a case so cruel, so gruesome that it will send chills through your spine. This case terrorized the people of Pune so much so that after sunset people stopped opening their doors for anyone, not even for their relatives. The streets bore a deserted look. No one dared to go out alone. Let's get started. January 16th, 1976, Pune, India. India was going through its darkest hour as emergency was declared throughout the country. Even through these dark times, on a cold January night, a chilling story unfolded that shook not only Pune but the entire state of Maharashtra. It was just the beginning of a dark tale that would haunt Maharashtra in coming months. Pune has always been known as a pensioner's paradise. The quiet city of Pune, known for highly respected educational institutes, attracted youth from all over the country. In the year 1975-76, along with many, four young men, namely Rajendra Jakkal, Dilip Sudhar, Shantaram Kanoji Jagta, and Munnavar Harun Shah, all in their 20s, also decided to pursue their education in Pune. Rajendra Jakkal was a photographer. His father owned a photo studio and he used to click pictures for him. Shantaram Jagta used to perform in his college drama group. Dilip Sudhar, he was an artist, he used to paint and was a good painter. Munnavar Shah was a commerce graduate, doing odd jobs here and there. All of them belonged to the lower middle class background, having family troubles. Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya, located in Sadashivpet, is a reputed institute related to commercial arts. This is where these young men studied and eventually became friends. Munnavar Harun Shah was Jakkal's friend, and through him, he got to know the other people. These four had a really bad reputation. They were known for causing trouble in the college campus. They often got involved in drinking fights, abusing people, eve-teasing and gambling. As they belonged to lower income groups, they always found themselves short of money. To make up for this, they started stealing cycles, motorcycles, and whatever they could get their hands on. Just behind their college, there was a small restaurant named Vishwa, owned by Sundar Hegde, father of Prakash Hegde. Prakash also attended Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya, the same college as the Jakkal group. One day, when they were hanging out at Vishwa restaurant, they saw Prakash come and go. Jakkal saw Prakash very closely and realized the problem of shortage of money could be solved. It was at this place that they planned to kidnap Prakash for ransom. Jakkal had already thought and mapped out the entire plan to kidnap Prakash. But the problem was, as they had acquired a very bad reputation in college, Prakash knowingly wouldn't have come to meet them when they had asked. Jakkal thought about this and then decided to send one other classmate of theirs named Suhas Chandok to call Prakash to meet him and then bring him to their location. Afternoon of January 15th, 1976, Suhas Chandu deceived Prakash and brought him to Rajendra Jakkal's metal shed on Karve Road. The moment Suhas and Prakash entered the shed, Jakkal gagged Prakash's mouth with a cloth. They tied his hands and legs and beat him up. Realizing now Prakash was scared and right where they wanted him to be, they forced him to write a note to his father stating he was leaving home on his own will and asked his father to send 25,000 rupees. The next morning, Prakash's father received the note written by Prakash. Reading the words that their elder son had run away from his home, his father was beyond sad. However, soon he was shocked. The letter was signed as Prakash. Prakash never did so. Whenever he used to write to his family, he used to sign it as Devdas, as that was his pet name. This realization made the Hegde family aware that something wasn't right. They immediately ran for the police station. But even with a police complaint filed, the police didn't pay proper attention to him as they considered it as a missing persons case. On realizing that Prakash's father had approached the police and they might get caught, scared and angry, Jakkal gang decided to kill Prakash. At night, they gagged Prakash Hegde and took him to Sarasbagh. Over there, they used a nylon rope to strangle Prakash. When he was dead, they placed the lifeless body into an iron barrel, added some stones to the barrel so that the barrel stayed down, and discarded the barrel into the lake. To throw everyone off the next day, they sent another ransom note to Sundar Hegde, Prakash's father. The barrel stayed submerged at the bottom of the lake. With no body and no clues or news of Prakash, the case went cold as a missing persons case. Scared that they might get caught, the four decided to leave Pune for a while. Suhas Chandok, who was tricked into bringing Prakash to Jakkal's shed, left the group despite being threatened by Jakkal that he will be killed off if he did so. What began as a single act of ransom money soon turned into a brutal murder. This became a haunting series of 10 gruesome murders that shook the entire city. The four then decided to stay in Kolhapur till they were sure that no one was looking for them. August 1976, Kolhapur. Even after moving to Kolhapur, Jakkal gang didn't change their ways. Drinking, gambling, stealing, eve-teasing continued. The only thing that had changed was their looks. They had grown beards now, wore long hair, stitched clothes were replaced with jeans and shirts, cycles were replaced with motorcycles. One day, they met an old friend of theirs. From him, they learned of a wealthy businessman in the Kolhapur city. They had found the new target. They prepared the plan and the date and time was decided. The day and time of the planned robbery arrived. But on reaching the location, as the businessman in the question was also a wrestler and the location was also in the middle of the city, realizing these things, they decided not to go through with the planned robbery. Soon, they ran out of money and decided to return to Pune. October 1976, Pune. After coming back to Pune, Rajendra Jakkal and Dilip Sutar started searching for the new target. They visited house to house, saying they are students looking for PG rooms. They used this reason to get to know the place, its residents, and the way in and out from there. They settled on a house in the Vijaynagar colony that belonged to the Joshi family. On the night of October 31st, 1976, they forcefully entered the house waving their knives. Achyut Joshi and his wife Usha were the only people present in the house. Usha Joshi was cooking in the kitchen. The Jakkal gang entered the house when Mr. Joshi opened the door. They immediately gagged him and tied him up. Two of them went towards Usha Joshi. Achyut Joshi was strangled with a nylon rope and his wife was tied and then suffocated. Anand Joshi, Achyut Joshi's teenage son, rang the bell. As no one opened the door, he used the spare keys and entered the house. When he came in, he was overpowered, gagged and was undressed. Then he was made to show where all the belongings were kept, and after he showed them, he too was strangled with the same rope. After these horrifying murders, the killers took along with them valuable things like Mangal Sutra, a watch and cash in thousands. To make sure they left no evidence, the killers wore rubber gloves so they wouldn't leave any fingerprints. They even sprayed the house with some ittar mixed with chemicals in the house to confuse and throw off the sniffer dogs. The killers were so gruesome that it is said that they ate dinner in the same house beside the murdered bodies before leaving. The news of Joshi's murders spread like wildfire in Pune. 3 weeks passed by. Police hadn't made any substantial progress in Joshi murders. November 22nd, Pune. The Jakkal gang decided to strike again. This time, the target was Yashomati Bafna's bungalow, Trishala, on Shankar Seth Road. On the evening of November 22nd, they entered the house with the same tactics as before. They rang the doorbell. When the servant came to open the door, he was immediately gagged and shown the knife to stay quiet. But there was one more servant who somehow managed to escape in one of the bathrooms and started making noise, shouting and throwing things to make noise. The criminals, the Jakkal gang members, scared of being caught, had to run away by climbing over the fence that had barbed wire around the house. They managed to escape. Yashomati Bafna, after getting her composure back, immediately reported to the police station to file a complaint. As they were wearing masks, Yashomati Bafna wasn't able to see any of their faces, but she did notice few things which she reported to the police. She told the police that the robbers were speaking in Marathi. They addressed one of the gang members as boss, and they constantly depended on their boss for instructions. As this appeared more of a robbery, the police failed to connect this to the earlier Joshi murders. December 1st, 1976, Pune. After their previous unsuccessful attempts, determined to succeed, they fixed their new target, a bungalow named Smriti belonging to Abhyankar's on the Bhandarkar Road. Abhyankar's residence was a corner house, with roads on the two sides and a vacant plot opposite the house, giving it a kind of isolated vibe. The Abhyankar household comprised of noted Sanskrit scholar Kashinath Shastri Abhyankar, age 88, his wife Indirabai, age 76, their maid Sakhubai, his son and his daughter-in-law Gajanan and Hirabai, and the two grandchildren Zai and Dhananjay. Gajanan worked at an embassy nearby. Both Gajanan and Hirabai, his wife, had gone out that night. On the night of December the 1st, doorbell to the Smriti Niwas rang. Dhananjay opened the door. The four of the Jakkal gang members entered the house, giving the excuse of clearing doubts related to Sanskrit play. On entering, they stuffed Dhananjay's mouth with a ball of cloth, tied his hands and threatened him with knife, and instructed him to guide them inside the house. Once inside, in the most inhuman manner, the killers killed each member one by one. They stuffed their mouth with a ball of cloth, tied both their hands and legs, and then strangled the victim with a nylon rope. But the most gruesome end was met by Zai. She was made to strip all her clothes, the same way as in the case of Anand Joshi. They forced her to direct them to the valuables in the house. Once convinced that they had collected all the money within their reach, they killed her too by strangulating her. Again, they used the same way to evade the law, spraying ether laced with chemicals and wearing masks and gloves. Naturally, Pune was gripped with panic following this incident. People stopped from going out after 7 p.m. The busy roads of Pune in the evening used to have a deserted look for the fear of being killed. People tended to stay indoors and no one was willing to open their doors to the strangers. On 31st December, one of the busiest days of the year for all the businesses owing to the upcoming new year, this time there were few people outside. Those who came with brothers or friends. No one came alone. The atmosphere in Pune was tense and policemen were to be seen at almost every street corner. Movies, nataks, private functions, any and every performance scheduled for the 31st and the 1st were cancelled, as previous murders had happened on 31st and 1st only. 23rd March 1977. Encouraged by the fear that had spread in Pune, the group attacked again. This time, they targeted the home of their college classmate, Jayant Gokhale. On the evening of 23rd March 1977, Jakkal and his gang had gone to visit Jayant at his house. But as Jayant wasn't there, they were about to leave, when they saw Anil, younger brother of Jayant, who wanted to go to Alka Talkies. Jakkal offered him a lift on his motorcycle. The group had planned to kill him that very night. Anil was supposed to meet his brother Jayant at the Alka Talkies. Unable to find his brother there, Anil asked for a lift back from Jakkal. Anil never reached home. He was brought to Jakkal's shed and strangled with a nylon rope, following the same pattern as in all previous instances. His body was tied to an unused iron ladder, laden with large rocks and discarded into Mulamutha river near Angad. On 24th March, at around 5 in the evening, a body surfaced near Yerwada. The police team, led by police inspector, on inspection realized that the nylon rope used to tie the body to the ladder had been fastened in a manner identical to the ones in all the previous killings. He immediately informed Assistant Commissioner of Police, who was spearheading the investigation. The police realized that the people last seen in the company of the victim had to know something about the crime. This is how the four were immediately rounded up for investigation. They were interrogated individually and later together. The four friends contradicted each other about their joint movements in the city over the past few weeks. The police later pretended to take the killers into confidence and asked them to aid the investigation, giving them the vibe that police considered them innocents. The killers unknowingly fell into the trap, making a critical mistake. Jakkal informed the police about a possible connection between Hegde and Gokhale's murder, as both victims were from the same college. The police were surprised by this revelation, as Prakash Hegde's case had been dismissed as a missing persons case and not a murder, and nobody knew if it was a murder at all. Then why would Jakkal say that it was a murder? Jakkal's information was an unexpected bonus to trap them further. Police started to keep a watch on all of them, and through their men, they overheard a conversation between Jakta and Sutar, which had the word boss used a lot. This conversation provided a vital clue. The word boss had been used at Bafna's residence. However, the police were truly convinced of the Jakkal and his group's involvement when one of their classmates, Satish Gore, broke down during police interrogation. Gore had been aware of all their horrifying activities. Another classmate, Suhas Chandok, who witnessed the Prakash Hegde's killing, was the final piece of evidence leading to their downfall. Chandok became the police witness. The Jakkal gang was formally arrested on 31st March 1977. Most crucial mystery of the last person from every family being stripped naked was still a mystery. According to the police, the killers stripped the last person in order to prevent the person from running away, as they needed him to show where the valuables were kept. They also used them as a shield while probing the interiors of the house. On information provided by the killers, the barrel containing Hegde's remain was fished out of Sarasbag's lake. The police also found stolen goods at Jakkal's shed. On September 20th, 1978, they were sentenced to death. Following the rejection of appeals by both the High Court and the Supreme Court, the accused sought a pardon from the President of India. However, the plea was not entertained, and the 4 individuals who had instilled panic, fear, and pain in the city of Pune were hanged at the Yerwada Central Jail on November 27, 1983, thus ending the terror for once and for all. Do like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to press the bell icon.